Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are live with the man, the myth, the legend, X-Ray Vision. What's up, my man?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm glad that we got this together. It took some work, but we're resilient.
We are resilient. I can't do a time zone math, so I wrecked you for like the past hour. So I apologize in advance, brother.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
All right.
So,
What's up, Mike Mack? What's up, Dragon 7? What's up, guys? I want to start out here by introducing X-Ray Vision. You guys have probably seen him on Twitter. He's tweeted 7,000 tweets, I believe he said. That's
it's
quite a
somewhere
bit.
around there. Give or take a couple.
Give or take. Here's his Twitter page at X-Ray Vision. Let me turn off this chat real quick. Yep. X-Ray Vision, check him out. Probably one of the smartest people in any room that he walks into. So I want to make sure that you guys know that he spends an incredible amount of time on his content, and for that I am very, very, very appreciative. And next up, we're going to talk about something kind of special here. I'm going to turn this off. What we're going to do is talk about the Rags to Riches Christmas drive. And I'm going to actually go to that right now and pop it up on my screen. Google Drive, Rags to Riches Christmas drive. All right. So if you guys have heard, I am creating the Rags to Riches Christmas drive. And our entire goal in life is to make sure that we take care of a family during Christmas. And I thought, what better way to do that? There is actually no better way to do that than use the power that we have at our fingertips, harness our family, and we are going to point some economic energy to somebody this Christmas, and we are going to make them very, very, very happy campers. So I'm going to show you guys here. Let's share that. Can you see that, brother?
I can see it.
Oh, outstanding.
Yep.
All right. So is there a way to maximize this? Okay. So the Rags Riches Christmas drive, essentially, the purpose, we're going to bless the socks off of a family in desperate need. All right. How does it work? All proceeds from my YouTube will go directly to the family. So any money I get from advertising or monetization or any type of super chat, if you guys want to donate in the chat, that's a really easy, quick, awesome way to get money our way. I also have a Venmo set up. I'm going to put it in the description. We're at about almost $2,500 right now. I started filming very recently here. I've actually talked to the gentleman that we're going to be blessing. So I will share I've created a new wallet, a public ether address for donations. And we can also use Venmo if you guys don't want to use crypto. I will keep the receipts of all purchases from this point moving forward, as well as take all money I have made or will make from YouTube, and I will dump that into the pot personally. I will also, unfortunately, dress up as Santa Claus with my sunglasses and deliver the money and gifts to the family. We're going to try to shoot for Christmas. We're going to see if we can work that out. Video will be provided. I've got a very, very, very talented video editor with a very nice camera, and we're going to do it the right way. It's going to be a really nice piece of content for everybody in the Hex community, Pulse Chain community, to be able to share with their friends and family and kind of show them what we're capable of as a community and show them that the things we do reach out into the real world. All right. We're not just some punk asses on YouTube. Yeah. So current amount we're at like $2,485. The goal is about $5,000. I think we can do a lot of damage with 5K. I've got I've got a way to pull out some requests from the guy that we're talking to right now, and I'll give you guys more information about his name, etc. At a later date. So let me stop sharing there. So overall, I'm just pretty stoked. I'm pretty excited. Um, you know, this is what it's all about. I've built this channel up. We've got a lot of followers, and it's time to use this channel to do some good in the world. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this is probably just the beginning. Um, and I debated long and hard actually whether or not I wanted to have Hexray Vision on this stream with me. But after long deliberation, I decided it might be best for what we're doing here. What do you think, old Hexray?
I think that's a good idea because the thing that I love about the Hexagon community is their willingness to give. You know, I've met so many people, especially with the meetups lately that they're doing the US road tour with, where people are donating time, they're donating hats, they're donating venues, they're donating all this stuff out of the goodness of their heart. They're donating hex to people that don't have any hex, because there's this spirit of abundance and giving that's really infectious with our community. So I think that it goes in hand with our community, especially around this time of year.
Yeah, you know, I you know, you get a lot of people who maybe were, you know, maybe they didn't have a lot of money, maybe they're middle class, upper middle class. But the point, a lot of our community, these people were part of the grind for a long time. We've got plumbers, we've got welders, we've got service industry folks, we got restaurant workers, we got a lot of people that know how it feels, and they want to return the favor to everybody. And I think that that's a characteristic of people who come from that echelon, is like, we want to bless it, we want to pay it forward, because that's how we were raised. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually grew up in a family of 7 kids.
7.
And so, yeah, we didn't have big extravagant Christmases growing up, or, you know, a lot of extra money lying around. So I can only imagine the stress that my parents were under raising this horde of children that they did.
Horde.
And so, yeah, as my wife and I have made a good living and been blessed, we also look for ways, because it's you know, it's in your heart to help people that you can relate to their struggles and their stresses.
Dude, man, and it's individual action that is going to move this world forward. Every single time that we need to move the world forward, it's individual action. Crypto was individual action. Okay. You had people working for hours and hours and days, and generally speaking, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, or possibly in terms of human time, years and years, hundreds of years, to build out what we have to this point. And the biggest thing that I had a problem with growing up for many, many years was thinking that somebody else needed to do something for me, when in reality, all I had to do was freaking hit the books, take accountability for myself, and move forward. And once I started doing that, things started changing, you know. And I get to the impression talking to you know, it's probably the same thing for you. Now, you're a lot smarter than me, so you probably figured this out at the age of like 2 days old or something, I assume, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
2 days. That was actually the day it was. It was actually 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Well, 2 days when you were removed from the petri dish. 2 days after that.
Right.
You freaking animal. All right. Let's see what we got here. Quick chat. Man, it's a vibe in here today. Stream looking good, sounding great. Mike Mack, my man. All right, I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Mike a lot of credit. Mike drove down and saw me on he was gonna go see family, and he drove down and we got to meet up. We got to sit down. You know, he had 4 White Claws. I didn't expect that from him, but he did. Beastie Boys didn't fight for his right to have White Claws, but it happened anyway. But it was really, really neat to meet somebody from my audience, right? Because I got the opportunity to ask him questions, and I said, listen, man, what could I do better? What could I do to improve? And it's all the little things that we kind of take for granted sometimes. It's the small details, it's the layout, it's the music in the background, but most importantly, I walked away from that thinking, you know what? If people tune into me to get information about Hex and Pulse and just crypto at large or whatever, I want to make sure that I'm honoring your time. All right. So moving forward, you know, we're going to be cracking up, we're going to be cutting up, but it's going to be towards the end. I'm going to get out the main points for you guys, and we'll go from there. Okay. Let us see here. So we're going to talk about charts now, and you know, some big news today. We had a Poloniex listing. So the Poloniex listing is pretty important, and it's important in my mind for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it's gonna give us more surface area. We're gonna be attached to more people. Now, obviously, I think trading on Poloniex in the U.S. is no go. You may or may not be able to use a VPN to circumvent that, but I obviously would never suggest anything like that. It's an awesome fiat on-ramp. So for folks who are really confused with, you know, Metamask or oneinch.io or any of that type of stuff, Uniswap, this may be a little bit easier, especially for folks outside the US as well. And the other thing, Poloniex is not a small name. So if Poloniex is doing this, there are competitors out there that they say, hey, if Poloniex is doing this, maybe we should take a look at it too. We want to remain competitive. We don't want people going to their platform rather than our platform. What are your thoughts on that, Hexray?
Yeah, in fact, I believe it was Poloniex that was famous for having the troll box back in the day that they eventually took away. Everyone loved that troll box. People would be piling in there, and it would just be message after message, kind of like the Pulse chain chat and Telegram right now. It's just flying by, and people are like, I'm buying this, I'm dropping this on that, and it went kind of crazy. And they shut it down back in the day. In fact, Poloniex is where I bought my first Dash a long time ago. Long time ago, before they kicked out the Americans. And it took a couple of days just to figure out how to set an order on that sucker.
Absolutely.
It took some big brain power.
I remember when I first got into exchanges, dude, limit orders and stop orders, and dude, I was just wasting money left and right, not knowing what the hell I was doing. Couldn't buy anything to save my life because I kept setting limit orders while things were going parabolic, and just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Same thing with Poloniex, but I think that this is a really, really big opportunity, and I think once you see a couple of these dominoes fall, the rest are going to fall, in my opinion. And so, you know, one of the things that we noticed today, we've had a couple addresses over the past, you know, I'd say since September, really, you know, just kind of bleeding Hex down slowly. The good news here is, though, you know, the on-chain metrics indicate that these folks are kind of running out of powder. Okay, so we saw a really big drop off from September 20th down to November 9th. That's going to be our local low here at about 14 cents. We saw a nice pump above that into moving averages. We saw a rejection when we got to you know, the longer range moving averages here, and we bounced back down. Now, one thing I do want to point out, when we're looking at these charts right now, we're seeing that there is a lot of buying pressure, and we had some folks dump a couple million on chain today, but we also saw a very, very strong rebound to a green wick. So when you look at these wicks, the longer the wick on the bottom, the more buy pressure we have pushing the price up. One thing that I would like to point out is the difference between our previous low, which is about 14 cents, and then the low that we experienced today. You know, we made a higher low, which is very important. It's very important for the confidence of the market. I've also noticed, if you look on Staker app, that we're seeing, you know, the difference between the buyers and the sellers, those amounts every day, that's shrinking. So I think with Poloniex, that's always good news. I think we're in good shape moving forward because, you know, the velocity of selling has slowed down a bit. So I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my question is, when you're buying Hex on Poloniex, you're probably not getting hit with those Ethereum fees, right? Because it's all in-house. It's all inside of Poloniex.
Yeah, what a
So
great point. Yeah.
until you move that Ethereum out of Poloniex into your personal wallet, you got this safe space for all the little guys to get a piece of Hex at this price, which is beautiful. That's what we've been waiting for. Because as long as the little guys can come in and join this party, it doesn't matter how many whales are dumping millions of dollars a day. Because they're only doing that to make us flinch. They're only doing that to scare us and manipulate the price. Everyone that's a whale is smart enough to set a limit order and smart enough to sell 30 grand at a time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the only reason that a whale would slap its tail that hard is to scare all the little guys out before Pulse Chain fork.
That's a good point. And I don't know if it might have been Richard or it might have been somebody else, but they were talking about, before, when the ETH fees weren't so high, if somebody dumped the price, the whales dumped the price, we had the little minnows to eat it all back up. But now the minnows can't really eat it up because the price is so high. But with Poloniex, that's pretty important. A lot of folks outside the US have access to that, and it'll be interesting to see the reaction from the rest of the world as the rest of the world wakes up on the other side of the flat Earth, or the globular Earth, whatever you want to say, Davis. Now,
the flat Earth, and I think by flat Earth they mean uncarbonated, right? Because like salt water is not carbonated; it's pretty flat.
You're not getting a tip. No tip for you. My soda's flat. Yeah, I got a new logo, folks. Pretty stoked about that. Nice little new logo. Updated Twitter. So if you guys want to check my new logo out, let me know what you think about it. That would be great. Hello all, Teddy Freeman, David Rarig, Brandon. Goosebumps doesn't count as reading. Dude, come on, man. Goosebumps, man. That is a staple of my childhood and everybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Do you remember those choose your own adventure books?
Yes, I do.
Where it's like you chose to fight the snake, you're dead. Return to page 17. You're like, shouldn't have fought the snake.
It's like a role-playing game before we had role-playing games. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And let's give our friend a shout out right now, Crypto Heartbeat. He's leading the charge on the Pulse chain with that compassion cartel that he's been talking about. And that's a really great example of what you were just talking about with the Christmas giving and with the things that we can do now that we have this blessing of economic energy to help people.
Absolutely. And I'm blown away by how much Crypto Heartbeat has grown, and I'm just trying to keep up with the Joneses at this point. Like, if I don't get like a new logo, if I don't put some cool stuff on the screen, he may never talk to me again. And obviously, like, I'd be okay with that. I just want him to remember where he came from. Okay, Hexray?
Yeah. Just remember where he came from, Crypto Heartbeat.
That's right. All right, let's talk about something else here. We're gonna pop this caption up, and we're gonna talk about Hex 19. Now, for those of you who do not know who Hex 19 is, it's an older gentleman who it sounds like he was victimized by a SIM swap, which consequently drained his MetaMask account. How much money, Hexray, did you say the total amount was drained from that account?
Well, it looks like most of the 400 million Hex bonus that we got that day came from him. So you got 400 million just in penalties, and then there's about $1 million worth of Hex sitting in the hacker's wallet right now.
I mean, how brutal is that, man? Absolutely brutal, and it's horrible, and we hate to hear it. And I'm going to give this man a lot of respect because he got on the whose stream was it yesterday? He got on
Matty Allen's.
Yeah, Matty Allen. I got a lot of respect for him because the guy got on. Fortunately, he didn't really need the money. He's taken care of. He's an older gentleman. He's got income coming in. But he got on the stream to help other people not make the same mistakes that he made. All right. What I want to do is kind of go over some basics of how to protect your crypto in situations like this. All right. And let me see. I'm assuming that you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. So this is going to be security. This is just a brief overview. There's going to be things that if you're really worried about losing your money, which you should be in your crypto, you need to do a lot of research on this. What I'm about to share with you is just nothing. It's the tip of the iceberg. You need to get serious. Security is number one, and you cannot learn enough about it. Okay. Essentially, what probably happened here is somebody went into a cell phone store, and through whatever means, maybe it was a guy just manipulating a retail cell phone salesman. He said, "Hey, I need to get a new SIM card," and basically they took the SIM card that was in this gentleman's phone, Hex 19, and cloned it on theirs. And that's one of the gaping holes of security, how they got into this and eventually drained everything. And if they have access to your exchanges, then that probably means they have access to your bank accounts, because your bank accounts are also coupled with those. So it's very, very important. Security is absolutely paramount. Okay, so we're going to go through just a couple things here for the sake of time. You need a hardware wallet. You've heard it so many times from so many different people. With so many different wallet options on the market, which one should you choose? And it really just depends on what you're particularly concerned about. Cyber threats, cold storage might be the best option. A safe solution is to store your crypto on something called a hardware wallet. For you new folks, manufacturers like Trezor and Ledger, and you can Google those and learn all about them, they offer various models of USB-like devices, which come with pre-installed security layers and encryption features. They don't connect to the internet, so cyber criminals will have a hard time trying to access your private keys. When you spin up your wallets, I know I'm not going to stop anybody from using Metamask. Metamask it's in terms of what's out there, it's probably one of the most vulnerable things. So if you are going to use it, you can protect your wallet by taking your private key off the grid and keeping it in the real world. So what's that mean? That means when you get your private key and you spin up your MetaMask address, please be sure not to copy. Don't even use Control-C. Control-C copies that on your hard drive. There is a footprint at that point. Make sure that you do not store it in any type of cloud storage. Don't put it on a Word document. Don't put it on Google Drive. Don't put it in Microsoft OneDrive. None of that. What you're going to do is either you're going to write it down 3 or 4 times, put it in multiple places. Just make sure that you do not have a digital copy of these keys online anywhere. Make sure that all your antivirus is up to date. Okay. The reason that you get so many virus updations on your phone is because if you don't have an update, that's the number one way that hackers and security folks say that people exploit phones. So keep up to date on your desktops, on your MacBooks, on everything, your iPhones, your Androids, whatever the case may be. Don't click dumb links. All right. Nobody is ever going to ask you for your seed for your MetaMask. Nobody will ever do that. And if they do, it's an immediate red flag. Okay. You know, even if it's you got to be careful, because if they have access to that, they have access to everything. If in 3 years you sacrificed a Pulse and you're sitting on a couple $1 million, you know, you're not going to want that on your phone. You're not going to want that on your computer. You're going to want that offline. Okay. But generally speaking, just get in the habit of not clicking links that look suspicious. Always have a second thought about that. Use a strong password. So with your MetaMask, if you're using it, make sure that you use a strong password. Very, very strong. All right. What is the real disadvantage of you not using a strong password on something that's so important? There's no real advantage. Okay. If you host an online wallet, be careful when choosing your password. Avoid phone numbers, birth dates, names, favorite movies. Go for alphanumeric combinations that only make sense to you. Statistics show that 52% of people reuse the same password across different services. So I got all this information from different websites. So this isn't all me. So you can look at this stuff. It's all over the place. Very, very important. Two-factor authentication. A lot of people don't have two-factor authentication set up. Set up two-factor authentication. Use difficult authentication. Use Google Authenticator. Okay. At the very least, use some type of, I probably wouldn't use texting, because if somebody did clone your SIM, then those text messages would go to that person and they'd be able to gain access. You just have to constantly be thinking, make it as hard as possible. And here's another cool thing that I didn't realize after watching Matty Allen's stream yesterday. Don't keep extra ETH in your wallet. Well, what's that mean? Well, let's say you have a hex, you have liquid hex in there, or a hex stake, whatever the case may be. If you don't have extra ETH in your wallet, it makes it very, very difficult, or more difficult rather, for a hacker to exploit that situation, because at that point, they're going to have to send Ethereum to that wallet, right? It's going to slow them down. It might give you just a couple more minutes to be able to see what's going on. So long story short, we just want to make sure that we can slow things down as much as possible. We want to make sure that we are not an easy target. That's the most important thing with all of this, okay? Do you have anything that you'd like to add there, Hexray?
Yeah, don't keep any crypto on your phone that you're not willing to lose. Just like keeping cash in your wallet. If you carry around $20 in your wallet and someone gets your wallet, you lost $20. But if you carry around $3 million in your wallet while you're walking around in public, then you're putting that at risk. So don't keep large amounts of crypto on your phone. Yeah,
and they said that in the stream yesterday. They were like, "Hey, listen, like, if you had $3 million, would you be walking around, downtown New York with your pocket stacked with cash?" No, but that's essentially what you're doing this day and age. If you have Metamask on your phone, it's a major vulnerability. All right. Let's get into the chat here. Let's see what these people are saying. David Rarig, so sad for that dude. So devastating. Completely agree. And who do we got here? Hex is the way. T-shares pay more and more over time. Staying staked is the best way to get early in-stake bonus, which we never know will come to us. Yeah, that's a good point too. They talked about it yesterday. They said, hey, even if you're unstaked for one day, you never know when some type of event like this is going to occur, and you won't have that beneficiary windfall.
Right, and I would like to point out that the Hex system worked the way it was designed to, even though this was very unfortunate for Hex 19, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. The people that had staked, like Richard and other people have suggested, they're the ones that aren't affected as badly by these price dumps and other things. They actually, they get the inflation and they get the penalties because they're staked.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's see here. Josh T. Crypto News. Can I put a MetaMask seed phrase into a ledger and access the same accounts? Yes, you can do that. David Rarick. So tattooing my seed phrase on my left bicep is a bad idea. David, I'm trying to keep things professional now, and you're just not making it easy for me, dude. Like, I want to wreck you. But yeah, sure. David, you do that. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine, buddy. All right.
That guy's got a big bicep.
Yeah. Mego art. That's fine, but keep your clothes on. Hell no.
Another suggestion, obviously, Papa B went over this last night. He talked about etching them on a piece of metal. Even if you get the giant washers from Home Depot and you etch the first few letters in that list of words, that's a good way to keep it from, fire or water damage.
Yeah.
If you're keeping it offline.
If you speak Navajo, you're probably really hooked up, because that's going to be kind of difficult.
Yeah, no one's going to know what that is, except for Nicolas Cage.
Correct. I saw something yesterday about transferring to a Trezor, then deleting MetaMask. the problem is if you have anything staked with MetaMask, it kind of stays there. You can't transfer that. Is that correct, X-Ray?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah, I think you'd be able to. I think you can transfer your liquid. You'd be able to do that, unless you have stakes. You wouldn't want to delete that MetaMask. I guess you can recover it.
Actually, no, I think they're correct. I think that if you take your seed words and you import that wallet onto there and then erase it from your laptop, which this is what I help some people onboard some people that don't have a laptop or a tablet to use. And so we get them started on their phone, and I tell them, okay, as after you get this all set up on your phone, as long as you know that this is good and that your seed words are written down correctly and you can re-import them, delete it off your phone.
Absolutely.
You don't want this on your phone in the future.
David Rarig, Brandon, you are a genius. Change your seed words into another language, then stamp those. I wonder if we could do redneck. We could change it to that language. Maybe that would work. Let's see what else we got up here. Deliberate creation. Davis, my man, dude. I'm gonna go on record here. Davis has the record for the most money donated to the Rags to Riches Christmas Drive. Okay.
Way to go, Davis.
It was actually pretty neat. Yesterday, I got to sit down with this guy, and through some very subversive means, I was able to kind of pull out. I said, "Listen, man, what?" Right now, this is like one of the last questions we were interviewing and telling us about his life. I said, what would you want your daughter to have for Christmas if you could snap your fingers and have all the money in the world? What would she get? And he sat back and he gave me two answers. The first answer was, he says, yeah, what's that thing that it goes on a desk and it's the screen and all? I said, a desktop? He said, yeah, a desktop. And his girl's 5 years old. So at first I was like, he was like, he didn't even know what it was, but he knew that his smart, beautiful, wonderful girl needed one. And the cool thing is, like, we're going to be able to do that for him. I'm so stoked about that. And then I said, all right, if I could snap my fingers right now, give you all the money in the world, like, what would you get for Christmas for yourself? And he sat back and thought, and he says, I want a PlayStation 5. And I said, PlayStation 5? And at first I was like, okay, PlayStation 5, I thought, but he was like, yeah, that's how I love spending time with my girl. He's like, we play video games all the time. He says, we play Grand Theft Auto. And I said, Grand Theft Auto, she's 5. He's like, no, she doesn't go in the city. She goes out to the bay and she gets on the Sea-Doos, man. She drives those things better than I do. So I thought it was just real sweet, man. He cares a lot about, he's a single dad. He doesn't have a car. Like, he's a really, really good dude. I'm really excited to share his story with you guys and show you guys the amount of good that we're going to do for him and his family. It's really, really, really cool. All right. David Rarig asks, so is this going to be a regular thing between you guys? See, only if he buys my ticket to Vegas like he promised. That's the only way.
I offered to buy the ticket, and you said you'd spend it all on Christmas gifts for other people.
That's right.
So I've got to wait till after Christmas.
I'm trying to bait you.
And hope you don't save it for next Christmas. You're like the opposite of Scrooge. You're just giving everything away.
Hey, rags and riches, baby. Here we go. Well, chat, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity only for about 5 minutes. If anybody wants to join, I'm going to put the link in the messages here, and I'm also going to tweet it out. So anybody can join our video chat right now. I'll bring you in. We'll talk. If I see any penises in the green room, I'm not bringing you in. I'm just being straightforward about that.
That's just a good rule of thumb in life.
Yeah, just generally speaking.
Shout out to Lewis in chat, telling you guys to hit the like button. Thank you, Lewis.
And let's see if we can get anybody from the Rags to Riches Telegram. If you guys want to check us out, we're going to have links at the bottom of this video, Rags to Riches Telegram. We got all the most exciting people in the whole community in there. So just come hang out, have a great time. It's a gee-golly good time. Gee-golly. Where is my damn thing? What? Uh-oh. We got hacked. I probably should not joke about that. All right, guys.
Okay, so let's ask. There's a question I've been getting from my friends lately. People that have stakes coming up, and they're trying to decide whether to let their stakes bleed or whether to take the hit in ETH fees right now and get it in liquid or restake it. What do you think about that? What would you consider if you were in that situation where you had $3,000 worth of hex coming out, the fees $600? What do you do?
That's kind of difficult. What would I do? $3,000 a hex. So you said the stake's ending. Is that correct?
Yeah, the stake's ending, so they're going to go into their 2-week grace period coming up soon.
I would probably. Here's the cool thing: you're going to get your interest within that if you stop it anywhere within that 2 weeks, regardless. And news like we got today, and other different news as well. Might just want to ride that 2 weeks out as far as you possibly can go, and just kind of wait and see, because it's kind of like a free pass in a way. Your money's in a positive purgatory, I guess you could say. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So take advantage of the full 2 weeks. I think that's really good news, because if the fees suck right now, they're probably going to suck for the next 2 weeks, right? You might get lucky and have a cheap day to jump out on. Or, the price might jump enough to where it's, worth pulling it out. But then I think about the value of,
You're good. Your video is good, by the way, dude. Somebody else in the green room.
I think about the value of a T-share, right? Like, what's a T-share going to be worth if you were to restake for 15 years, do a 5-5-5-5 with this $2 or $3 grand right now? I think that you're guaranteed a really beautiful payday in 15 years, obviously, because to most people, $2 to $3 grand isn't life-changing wealth right now.
Yeah.
So if it's not going to really benefit your life right now, then throw that fish back for 15 years and just get those T-shirts on both.
Why not? Just forget about that money. And
then again, I'm crazy excited and optimistic on Pulse Chain. So if Pulse Chain shows up in the next 2 or 3 months, and you bleed out that 12 to 16% of your stakes, I think it might be worth waiting that long, if depending on when Pulse Chain actually launches.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk more about Pulse Chain here. I'm going to bring in Falling Star. Falling Star is one of the folks in our Telegram group. Can you hear me, Fallen Star? Hello. Falling Star, can you hear me? All right.
Falling Star, do you read me?
Yeah, get your stuff squared away, and I can see you in the green room when your video comes on. So Pulse Chain, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm involved in a lot of different groups, and not only Pulse groups and Hex groups. I'm involved in a lot of different circles. And I'm seeing a really big buzz being created right now for Pulse Chain, and I can't overstate that fact. Like, people are talking about it, people are curious about it, people are getting creative with it. I'm going to be doing some live streams from some founders of some projects that are popping up here in the next couple of days. Like, it's a really serious thing. The value proposition for Pulse is absolutely amazing. So many companies are not going to have to spend millions and millions of dollars setting up iterations of existing projects on other chains on the Pulse chain, or on the Ethereum chain, ERC20. It's amazing. There's huge value in that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was checking out your video with the liquid loans and HodPro, and I've sent that link to a ton of people that keep asking about liquid loans and what I've been researching lately. And I also watched the CEO's interview with Crypto Heartbeat and learned that he's an OG Hexagon and he's seeking Richard's blessing, and it seems like they're really got their ducks in right order, and they're trying to make it locked, immutable, and just let it run the way that code should run in DeFi. And so if they pull off what they pull off, then they have a token in there called like the loan token or something to that effect, which they said gets harder and harder to get, which like gets cut in half or whatever. So that's almost like their version of a T-share from what I understand. So if you want 90% of your hex in T-shares, you might want, if this, if they pull it off, you might want 90% of your pulse in that loan token if it acts like a T-share.
Yeah. If you've been involved in it, or if you've read any books and you've gone through any type of like real estate courses or tax courses, one of the things that you're going to understand real quick is one of the best ways to build wealth is to be able to hold on to as much of those tax dollars as possible. They call those ghost dollars, all right? Because if they're cutting off 30 or 40%, what impact does 30, 40% per year make over 30 or 40 years? A whole lot of money, right? So if you have the ability to kind of do what you do in a house where you do a cash out refinance, right? For example, or you have a home equity line of credit, your crypto is treated like a property. You will be able to do that now, and you will do that in a tax-free environment, depending on what country you're from. Talk to your tax people. But that is very, very, very powerful. And more people need to know about that. And I encourage you guys, Robert Kiyosaki has been thrown around lately, but he not only has Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he has a whole series of books educating people about how big money moves and shakes. All right. And a lot of his books have to do with, well, a couple of them specifically about ghost dollars. All right. And that's how to use the tax code to your advantage.
Yeah, and on top of the tax advantage, if you're able to use your pulse and not sell it, or use your hex and not sell it, then you're not going to be kicking yourself down the road if hex continues to do its climb like Bitcoin has and Ethereum has. Because I mean, think about all those guys that sold all their Bitcoin back in the day, and maybe they paid off a house. Like, cool, you paid off a house, but then you also watched Bitcoin to go on to pay off like 10,000 houses for you. And you're just like, oh, the Homer don't.
Yeah,
like
it's rough.
That's gotta hurt.
It does.
And so, like they said, it's almost like taking your pulse to a pawn shop and pawning it at 10 cents, right? And then even if the price of pulse goes way up higher, you can go back and buy back your pulse at 10 cents, right?
Yeah. David Rarick, he says, yeah, but you increase leverage, thus increase risk. So here's the cool thing. If you do get liquidated, one of the disadvantages, depending on what country you're from, is you will have to pay gains on the amount of money that was liquidated. It's a taxable event in some instances. Now, the advantage though is that you minted stablecoin. They will take your PLS, but you get to keep your stablecoin, and you can do the process over again. So all is not necessarily lost. That's one of the things that really, really interested me about it, because there is somewhat of a safety net there. Now, I do agree. Would I rather have stablecoin, or would I rather have PLS? Well, I know what I would rather have, but I totally understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying there. Yeah. David, I went pretty in depth. I read the white paper. If you need that white paper, just come see me, the Telegram chat, or you can do ragsrichessquad@gmail.com. All right.
Yeah, and you may not want to be the first through the doors with this either, right? I mean, they said obviously Pulse Chain's got to launch and figure out what it's doing first, and then they can go on top of Pulse Chain. But if they do the code the way they say it, where it's finished and locked and immutable, then it's either going to crash and burn when they release it, or it's not, right? So obviously you may not want to be a day one person jumping into Liquid if they launch it. You may want to wait a week or two, see if anyone's exploiting any of the bugs, or if they pulled it off, right?
Well, I will say this, and I don't think a lot of folks know this, but the actual code that was used for Liquid Loans is already a working project on the Ethereum chain. So it's working, and it's working very, very, very well, some of the code there. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable about the situation. And I did not know that previously. I would encourage everybody, just make it, everybody says do your own research. Just start with white papers. Take a look at the white papers. and then write down questions. If you don't understand terms, if you don't understand systems in the white papers, things like that, write it down, and you can come into the Rags to Riches chat. If I can't find the answer for you, somebody in there might have it. I also have access to a lot of folks that are a whole lot smarter than I am that would be able to help you out there too.
Right. And the way I understand it, people are talking about leverage. You get to choose how much of your loan is collateralized. As far as so you can collateralize it 100%, 110%. And they said, I think he said that they want all of them collateralized more than 100%. And that's where that loan token comes in. So you don't have to be going in there and taking loans. You can be the person going in there and collateralizing other people's loans. So when they default, you get paid in the US dollar liquid coin, right? Their stable coin. And then you would also get paid if people defaulted on their loans in Pulse. That was my understanding of it.
Yeah. So essentially the way it works, since we're on this topic, you can take your Pulse, you can lock it up in their vault. All right. You can mint USDL. And from that, you can either use your DSL or USDL, which is a stable coin, and you can purchase more, Pulse, or you can purchase more cryptocurrency, or you can cash out somehow. You get what you need. The other option you have at that point is you can put it in a stability pool. Okay. So the thing about stability pools are you would be able to earn loan token, okay, and in PLS at the same time. You can take your loan token and you can stake, thus earning even more USDL. And then you can kind of start the process all the way back over again, or you can take your USDL and put it back in the stability pool. But the point is, there's basically a loop of just generating a whole lot of money, and the folks who were in at the beginning would be able to benefit pretty well from that. So it seems like a whole lot of my live streams have been really gravitating towards liquid loans. There's a lot of people on the fence about it, and that's completely normal to be on the fence about that type of thing, because there's so many scams and things out there. I have a lot of respect for Jesse from Liquid Loans. He's got a lot of integrity, and I feel good about it. It's just a decision I'm making. Doesn't mean that you guys need to piggyback off me or Hexray or anybody else who likes it or doesn't like it. Doesn't matter. Let's see here. Thoughts on sacrifice for liquid loans? What are your have you heard about that, Hexray?
No, I haven't heard about that, and I don't know what I would think about sacrificing for liquid loans. I mean, when we were sacrificing our Hex for Pulse, it was a Richard product going to a Richard Hart project, right?
Yeah.
So that gave me a lot more confidence in sacrificing for Pulse than say sacrificing for a team that I'm not as familiar with,
Sure.
So we've been hanging out with Richard for 2 years before Hex and 2 years of Hex.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-year relationship to watch him deliver, like do what he says he's going to do and build that trust. And like the CEO of Liquid Loan says, the real currency in crypto is trust. Because at the end of the day, you've got to trust someone to do what they say they're going to do.
Yep. And in terms of a risk versus reward spectrum, it's like, how much risk am I willing to take initially to get the reward that I want to achieve? So, in terms of, I will probably be sacrificing initially, and I'm just going to use proper risk management. It's going to be a very, very small amount of my portfolio, which is something that I encourage everybody to do whenever they get into any project. It doesn't have to be Hex, doesn't have to be Pulse. I'm not a freaking idiot. I know you guys ape into shit coins all day long, but just do it safely. And I don't think that Liquid Loans is a shit coin. We can fast forward 2 or 3 years, and you guys could prove me wrong, and that it might happen. But I'll tell you guys where I stand, and then we go from there. Let's see.
David, there you go. David Rerig. He's gonna do whatever you tell him to do, and then blame you accordingly.
David, keep your damn Jedi mind tricks out of the chat. I know you, dude. David's smarter than me too. All these people are smarter than me. Let me see here. It's like, I like this. It's like crypto inception. Don't get lost on the lower level.
Yeah, it really goes deep. And we were talking about earlier the encapsulated loans or the encapsulated stakes.
Yeah.
How the encapsulated stakes may offer an extra level of security to getting hacked and to getting your stakes emergency end staked. Like they may have like some timers and some multi-sig options that would allow you to, they could like set an alarm off or a trigger, and then you could get a notification on your phone or on your laptop or to your email saying, hey, someone has started the 72-hour countdown to you breaking the seal on this encapsulated stake. And you may have a time where you can get in there and move it before they actually have access to your funds.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited about those security things right there.
Well, and that just comes with the infancy of the space right now. We're going to see more and more iterations of better and better security. But generally speaking, the hackers they're always ahead. And it's because, we respond to the threats. The threats don't respond to us, unfortunately. And sometimes we can get closer to that level. But, we will see big progress in that area over the next 5 or 10 years for sure. Security is going to continue to be the biggest thing in the TCP/IP world and also in the blockchain world as well. Hoping low, Poloniex price is higher than the actual hex price. So let's check and see what the Poloniex price is. I'm going to share screen. Poloniex. Let's share. So you guys see that okay? All right. Poloniex currently we're sitting at what, 19 cents, right at 19 cents. And if I go to, yeah, there is a little bit of an arbitrage. It's about 17.8. So we got about a penny difference, a penny and some change difference. So,
but in order to do that arbitrage, wouldn't you have to arbitrage on Uniswap V2 or V3 and then eat the ETH fee, which would eat your profit unless you're doing a huge order, in which case you'd push the price against yourself, right?
Absolutely. So
like the casino's got its edge right there in Poloniex.
It always has its edge. You think you do, but you don't. You don't. What is it?
It's luring in the slow kids.
I know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you guys ask. If we have any more questions, go ahead and ask your questions now. I want to try to keep this under an hour, just to respect your time. And again, guys, I'm going to put the donation address, the Ethereum donation address, in the description. My goal is at about $5,000. We were able to raise in about 7 to 8 days. We raised about $2,500 for this family. And if you just joined, Rags to Riches community is doing a Rags to Riches Christmas drive. We're going to help out a single father. He has a 5-year-old daughter, and we're going to really bless him on Christmas. We're going to try to get him a laptop or a desktop. His daughter wants a desktop. And just all the basics, all the necessities. We might even do a little steak for him. So I'm really excited about that. If I'm going to be probably streaming tomorrow. I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing a stream for the U.S. folks here. It's going to be the real Thanksgiving story. All right. So we're going to do the real Thanksgiving story, not the Marxist Thanksgiving story. It's very important. So we'll be doing that. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. And what did David say?
He said, in my opinion, capsulated stakes are a game changer and a must-have. And then he asked what the meaning of life was.
Meaning of life? He put me living single, seeing double, and sleeping triple, baby. That's the meaning of life. David, come on now. I know how you are.
Oh,
that's the cheers I use for every shot at the bar. It's like 1 a.m. I'm hammered. Living single, seeing double, sleeping triple. I always screw it up too.
Mike Max says, "What's my Pulse Chain launch price prediction?" And yes, it's gospel, and yes, they're holding me to it. So I base everything off of Ethereum, right? So Ethereum's pre-sale was 3 cents. Its launch was $3. So if we got 100 hex for a penny, then we could easily launch at a penny. Now, will we stay there? No, we'll probably crash just like Ethereum crashed 15 cents, right? So that's where the DCA saves your ass. Is that first 6 months of Pulse, if you didn't get in on the sacrifice phase, or if you didn't get as much as you want in the sacrifice phase, dollar cost average heavy in the first 6 months, lighter in the second 6 months, and then pretend it doesn't exist for 4 years. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's a strategy that I think will serve a lot of people very well.
Yeah. I think our launch price is going to be 0.000069. Now, how long it stays there, I have no idea. I have no freaking clue. But
that's a nice price prediction.
Well, it's logic. I mean, I've done some videos. I'm just going to stick to it, and it'll be cool if I hit it. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully it's a freaking penny. Oh my gosh, if it's a penny at launch.
Well, I mean, people are sacrificing right now for like what, 2-3 cents?
Dude,
they're getting that really bad sacrifice deal
I pulled up the sacrifice address today for Pulse, and I'm talking like there's at least 5 or 10 sacrifices per minute, dude. It's absolute insanity. People are still sacrificing. Now, I can't bust their chops because ultimately, do you know what's going to happen at launch?
No.
Do I know?
No.
So how can I just like meme slap somebody? I can't do it because I don't really know. You just got to do what you got to do.
They like the matching beards and they want to know when I'm going to get the 80s glasses. I've got the 80s glasses. Check out my interview with Rags to Riches. He's republishing on his channel here, and you'll see 2 beautiful men with beautiful glasses. I mean, our future is so bright. My eyes, you see these bags under my eyes, it's because my future is so bright. They're just wincing from looking at the future.
Don't ever say that again.
My little owl. Never mind.
Yeah, good job. I hope you guys do this together more. The matching beards work. All right, bro, Cephas, bro, Zakaya. All right, who do we got? ETH. Hex is the way. ETH was 31 cents with no community. PLS has no launch price. You can hit a penny easy. Dude, there's so many things. The community is massive. Community is huge. And you got to understand that that's just a very, very complex chain of events branching off of those people and all the people they're onboarding. And guys, I've onboarded a lot of folks. I've got a lot of folks in on this. And the cool thing is, they're doing their own research, and it's the Pulse folks and the Hex folks that are creating the content to really solidify that for them, because they hear it from me and then they need to hear it from 5 other places because they're dumb human beings, and they go out and they get on YouTube and talk about it.
I'm pulling up the Telegram right now. Right now, Pulse Chain Telegram has 53,000 members plus.
53.
Yeah, and then Hex has 36,000 member plus. So obviously a lot of those are the same people, but I'm looking forward to a day when both those communities combine, because Pulse is going to let a lot of people know about Hex and vice versa, right?
Dude, yeah, absolutely.
And I think we're going to see a huge price pump when those 2 communities get together and start that synergistic like vibe outwards, where people are talking about Hex and Pulse in the same sentence all the time instead of just one or the other.
Well, just think about the power that Pulse wields now that you have a founder with the track record that Richard does. And now that you have exchanges and you have listing websites and things like that saying, hey, listen, I wasn't on board before, but I'm on board now. A lot of people are saying, well, if he's capable of this, why would I not get into Pulse? What tricks does he have up his sleeve here? Not only that, I think I did a video, or maybe I did a blog the other day, and I was talking about like Think about how many people, even 3 to 6 months in, that find out that all they have to do is change a couple settings in their MetaMask. They have exact copies and quantities of all that. And think about that one guy that finds out and he opens it up. There's been 6 months of price parity and price discovery, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my God, I had 20,000 in here, now I have 40,000 or 80,000." And then he tells his family and his dude, it's going to go crazy. We're beating Ethereum 2.0 to market, just like he says. And right now, the longer that we can make people hurt with Ethereum, the better it is going to be for us when we launch.
Yeah, as painful and tedious as it is right now, when this stuff launches, it's going to be fireworks and, craziness.
Absolutely. I absolutely love
Absolute craziness.
Conrad Zim, Crypto Grammy. Conrad Zim did a very interesting stream this morning going over the Pulse launch as well as Hex strategies. Cool. We can check that out. I've never heard of Conrad Zim, but I'm not a good person to talk about Hex streamers, influencers, because I don't watch a lot of it. David Rarick, I hope you on board with cold storage. If not, you suck. David, you always suck. And yeah, I watched Conrad Zim. It was good. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 minute over. I want to thank everybody for joining. This is very, very massively, hugely important here. And what we want to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I am going to screen. And we're going to go to Hexray Vision. Guys, check out Hexray Vision. He's going to have he has his YouTube link in the description here. Check out his YouTube. He has incredible production quality. I'm going to be posting on my channel here in just a little bit the YouTube video that we did, so you guys can really see the work, the sweat that he puts into this. I'm super stoked to have streamed with him for the first time here on our side. And let's see here. Hi guys, I had a question. We'll answer it, damn it, or ask it, damn it. Susie Q, what's up, Susie Q? Hello, amazing Hexicans. Hello. Mike Mack, great stream, boys. Great stream, men. All right, doesn't look like he's gonna ask. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on my Telegram, ragsrichesquad@gmail.com. Thank you guys all. And Hexray, you can stick around for a minute. You guys take it easy.
You bet. Thanks.